Hi everyone, welcome to the next session of Earth theories in geotechnical engineering 2. In last class we have discussed about the active earth pressure. For active earth pressure, how we are calculating the lateral earth pressure we have seen. And again, if you see here, again one more time I will show the diagram. This is the retaining wall and here is the backfill. The backfill is corrosionless soil, that means coarse grained soil, that is sand. And if you see here, this is the total height of the wall, and this is the how the lateral earth pressure is varying from top of the wall to the bottom of the wall. And if you consider at a particular depth the horizontal pressure, it will be equal to the vertical effective pressure into the coefficient of active earth pressure. And this is the active earth pressure distribution for Rankine's theory. If you see here, for this soil element at a particular depth, we have considered on soil element. We calculated the vertical pressure. Based on vertical pressure, we calculated the horizontal pressure. If you see here, sigma h by sigma b equal to Ka, where sigma h is the horizontal pressure, Ka into sigma b, where Ka is the coefficient active earth pressure. I will explain this. And sigma b is the vertical pressure. If you consider here this horizontal pressure at a particular depth, the vertical pressure it will may vary. That means the horizontal pressure at ground surface while going to the deeper of the soil strata, the horizontal pressure it will may vary. Where the vertical pressure at a particular depth, sigma z equal to Ka into gamma into Z, the horizontal pressure at total depth of the wall. Suppose if you consider this total depth of the wall as h, for this condition the horizontal pressure sigma h equal to Ka into gamma h, where Ka is called the coefficient of earth pressure in active condition or in active state. Again, if you observe here, let sigma be at a depth z below the ground surface. Already I have mentioned the point where sigma b is the vertical pressure at a z depth below the ground surface. At particular depth, sigma b equal to gamma into z. The ratio of horizontal earth pressure to the vertical earth pressure, already we calculated this formula, sigma h by sigma b equal to Ka, where this horizontal pressure sigma h equal to Ka into gamma z, where Ka is the coefficient of active earth pressure, where Ka is the coefficient of active earth pressure. This Ka value, coefficient of active earth pressure, we are taking it as Ka equal to 1 minus sin phi divided by 1 plus sin phi. This is the active earth pressure coefficient. That means when the wall is moving away from the soil, in those conditions, we will calculate this Ka by using this formula. That means the angle of intersection for different type of soils, that means for different type of coarse grained soils, we are calculating by using the experimental investigation. The experiment may be direct shear test or a triaxial shear test. After performing the experiment for those soils, you will get the angle of internal friction. Again, if you see here 1 minus sin phi by 1 minus sin phi, the coefficient also we are getting in terms of tan square 45 minus phi by 2. This is the active earth pressure coefficient. Before going to this total conclusion, I will explain about the total horizontal pressure. That means if you see here, for a total height of the h of the wall, the total thrust, that means the total horizontal force Pa on the wall per unit length of the wall is given by. That means suppose this is your horizontal ground level. Suppose this is your retaining wall and this is the horizontal ground level. For this horizontal ground level, suppose this is the total height of the wall h, and this is the horizontal pressure acting on the wall. If you consider in this wall, the pressure what is acting on the wall, it's going linearly increasing from top of the wall to the bottom of the wall. What is the pressure available here? If you are going to the deeper into the strata, the pressure it will be maximum at the bottom of the wall. For this wall, how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting, that we have to calculate. That is nothing but Ka into gamma into H. For this total horizontal pressure, if you want to calculate, just substitute the area of the triangle. The total horizontal force or the total horizontal pressure acting is nothing but the area of the triangle or area of the pressure diagram. That means horizontal pressure Pa equal to, or horizontal thrust reactive pressure Pa equal to half into base, where base is Ka into gamma into H, half into base into height, where H is the total height of the wall. If you substitute, you will getting the total horizontal pressure Pa as, or total horizontal force Pa equal to half into Ka into gamma into H square. This is the formula for calculating the horizontal earth pressure at H, or at a total depth. This is the total horizontal force acting on the wall. This formula you should have to remember. This is very, very important. Again, if you see here, where Ka is the formula, we are getting it from 1 minus sin phi divided by 1 plus sin phi, where gamma is the unit weight of the soil available here in the backfill. In the backfill, what is the soil available here? That is having gamma. And where H square is the, H is the height of the wall. Again, if you observe here, this may be taken at a height of H by 3 above the base of the retaining wall, above the base of the soil mass, centroid of the pressure diagram. That means the horizontal pressure, how much this is acting maximum, it will be acting at a height of H by 3. That means from top of the wall, the horizontal pressure maximum, it will be taking centroidal distance of H by 3. Suppose this is your rectangular wall. For this rectangular wall, the maximum horizontal pressure acting at a height of H by 3 from the base of the wall. Suppose this is your horizontal pressure. This horizontal pressure is acting at a height of H by 3 from the base of the wall. This is the entire calculation for how we are calculating the earth pressure for different types of retaining walls. Well, before calculating this earth pressure, I will explain about the how the structure coefficient of earth pressure we are calculating from the major stresses or minor principal stresses. Suppose if here I am considering the one footing, here I am taking the one footing, and if you consider here, this is the top of the wall and this is the ground surface. From ground surface we kept some foundation. In this foundation we are having the soil mass, and again here I am considering the one soil element. If you consider this soil element as A, if you see here in the soil element, the vertical pressure is due to different type of condition. That means the vertical pressure either due to the superstructure as well as substructure as well as weight of the self weight of the soil mass. The load is coming on the soil element from the superstructure, from the substructure as well as self weight of the soil mass what is available here. For the soil element, I am considering this one soil element. This is the one soil element I am taking here. And again, if you see here, this is the vertical pressure sigma 1 acting in this direction. Again, in opposite direction, the sigma 1 is acting in this direction. Again, if you consider the horizontal pressure acting as sigma 3, again the horizontal pressure is acting sigma 3. This is the concept how the major principal stress and minor principal stress will be acting on the soil mass, where sigma 1 and sigma 1 is the major vertical principal stresses and sigma 3 is the minor principal stress or horizontal pressure. Due to this application of these two forces, the soil mass will may fail, the failure plane it may be like this. That means the failure of the soil mass, it may failuring by some angle of inclination. That angle of inclination we are naming it as alpha. The concept what is the major principal stress, minor principal stress, all these terms we have already discussed. The sin alpha equal to what is the normal stress, what is shear stress, already we have discussed in our previous class. If you see here, the shear stress tau equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2, where 2 into sin alpha, where this is the formula for shear stresses. And if you see here, this is the normal force acting in this direction, and this is the shear force acting in this direction. From this, the shear stress tau equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 into sin alpha, where normal stress sigma 1 equal to sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2 plus sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 into cos 2 alpha. These are the formulas already we have discovered in our strength of materials, as well as we have discussed in our first geotechnical engineering 1. From this concept of major principal stress and minor principal stress, as well as from the concept of Morse-Coulomb's equation, I am deriving the vertical pressure and horizontal pressure, as well as that means major principal stress equal to minor principal stress. From that concept, I am deriving the one formula, that is nothing but sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 into tan square alpha plus 2c into tan alpha. This is the formula. We are calculating it from the Moore-Coulomb's theory or Moore-Coulomb's envelope. Sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 into tan square alpha plus 2c into tan alpha. In those conditions, the soil what is available here, it is a combination of both horizontal pressure and vertical pressure. And again, if you see here, suppose I am considering the only soil as a dry soil, hence the term sigma, the term cohesion is neglected, hence this term you won't get 2c tan alpha. That means sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 into tan square alpha. Sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 into tan square alpha, where sigma 1 is the major vertical principal stress and sigma 3 is the minor principal stress. From this, we are having the formula, the ratio of the horizontal earth pressure to the effective vertical pressure. That means sigma 3 divided by sigma 1 equal to 1 divided by tan square alpha. Sigma 3 divided by sigma 1 equal to 1 divided by tan square alpha, where sigma 3 is nothing but a minor principal stress, that is nothing but the horizontal earth pressure sigma h, where sigma 1 is the vertical pressure. That means sigma 1 is the vertical pressure, that equal to sigma v equal to 1 by tan square alpha. We are having the cot square alpha. From this, we are having the formula sigma h equal to cot square alpha into sigma v, where this cot square alpha we can take it as 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. That means based on the effective condition, the soil mass it will may vary. If you see here, in active condition we are taking sigma 1 as in active condition we are taking sigma 1 as sigma h and sigma 3 as sigma v. In active condition we are taking it as sigma 3 equal to sigma h and sigma 1 equal to sigma v. The horizontal pressure to the vertical pressure, we are having the formula sigma 3 divided by sigma 1. Sigma 3 divided by sigma 1. That means in active condition we are taking this sigma 1 as vertical or major principal stress, and sigma 3 we are taking it as the minor principal stress in active condition. Whereas in passive condition we are taking sigma 1 equal to sigma h, whereas sigma v equal to sigma 3. In those conditions we are having the formula sigma 1 by sigma 3 equal to tan square alpha. Sigma 1 divided by sigma 3 equal to tan square alpha. This is the one more formula for calculation of horizontal earth pressure to the vertical earth pressure. How these formulas are coming from the Morse Coulomb's equation. Okay, this is the concept how the major principal stress and the minor principal stress we are calculating based on the horizontal effective pressure to the vertical effective pressure. Okay, from this concept we have calculated the active earth pressure for different type of soil conditions. Okay, and if you observe here, this is how we are calculating the coefficient of earth pressure. Suppose if you see here, this Ka value we are calling it as a coefficient of earth pressure value. This earth pressure value we can calculate by using the formula 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin 5 or tan square 45 minus 5 by 2 or cot square alpha. By using all these type of formulas we can calculate the passive earth pressure. Okay, next we are having the one more condition, effect of submergence. Next condition we are having the effect of submergence. In that condition what we are doing means, again same retaining wall we are considering here, and this is the horizontal ground level, and the soil what is available here, it is completely filled with water. That means it is in a submerged condition. In submerged condition we have to take the unit weight of the soil mass as gamma sub, and this is the total height of the wall, and this is the total height of the wall. If you consider in this retaining wall, for this condition there are two types of horizontal forces acting on the wall. First one is the horizontal earth pressure and the second one is the pore water pressure. If you see here, from top of the ground surface to the bottom of the ground surface, the horizontal pressure acting on the wall due to the soil mass already we know. As well as the second condition is having pore water pressure, hence pore water pressure also will create some pressure on the wall. The pore water pressure creating also will give some horizontal pressure. That pressure also we have to calculate for this condition. If you see here, effect of submergence, lateral earth pressure due to submerged unit weight of the backfill soil. Okay, second one is the lateral earth pressure due to the submerged unit weight of the soil. What is the soil available here? The submerged soil will create some pressure on the wall. That lateral pressure we have to calculate. As well as the second condition is lateral pressure due to the pore water. The water what is filled within the soil in the voids, that also will create some pressure on the wall. That pressure also we have to calculate. By seeing the diagram I will explain. And if you see here, this is the one more diagrammatic representation for the retaining wall when the soil mass is in a submerged condition. If you see here, this is the retaining wall. Okay, yeah, retaining wall, the height of the retaining wall is h, and if you see here, this is the soil mass. The soil mass is we are considering it as a submerged unit weight. That means the soil what is available here, the void is completely filled with water. Hence why we are taking this as a buoyant unit weight or a submerged unit weight or a gamma prime. You can name in these three names. Again, if you see here, this is the water table at the ground surface. Due to this water table at the ground surface, the soil what is available here, it is filled with water. And again, if you check here in this diagram, for this diagram, if you see here in this lateral triangle, in this triangle, one portion of pressure is creating on the wall due to the pressure of soil. What is the soil available here? The soil will create some pressure on the wall. That pressure we are taking it as a Ka into gamma prime into H. Already we know how we have to calculate this submerged unit weight. Again, if you see one more triangle, this second triangle is happened because of the what is water available here. The water also will create some pressure on the wall. The soil itself will create some pressure on the wall, as well as what is the availability of the water filled within the soil. That water also will create some pressure on the wall. That pressure we are taking it as gamma W into H. Again, from the concept of effective earth pressure as well as effective horizontal pressure, we have to calculate the how much amount of horizontal pressure acting at a total depth as well as at a particular depth. Okay, for this first I will explain. Okay, if you see here, this is your regular retaining wall. Okay, and this is the horizontal ground level. Suppose here I am taking this total height of the wall as a h. Total height of the wall as h. And if you see here at a particular soil element, at this particular element, I want to calculate this vertical pressure as well as horizontal pressure. At this particular point, I want to calculate how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting. At this particular point, how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting. Again, if you see here, this is the vertical pressure acting on the soil element. Okay. For this soil element, vertical pressure, horizontal pressure, I want to calculate. Again, if you see here in our diagram, they represented the submerged unit weight. Hence, submerged unit weight, we have to take the unit weight of the soil mass as a gamma prime or gamma submerged. Already we know the earth pressure formula, that means coefficient of earth pressure. It is defined as the ratio of horizontal earth pressure to the effective vertical pressure. Okay, Ka is the coefficient of active earth pressure. It is defined as the ratio of horizontal effective earth pressure to the vertical effective pressure. That means horizontal effective vertical pressure we are taking it as sigma h divided by where sigma v is the effective vertical pressure. That means in this direction how much amount of vertical pressure is acting, in this direction how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting, that we want to calculate. That ratio we are taking this Ka as the coefficient of active earth pressure coefficient. From this I want to calculate this sigma h, where sigma h equal to Ka into sigma v, where sigma horizontal pressure sigma h equal to Ka into sigma v. If you see here at this particular point, I want to calculate this horizontal pressure. That means horizontal pressure at depth z. I want to calculate the lateral pressure. That means sigma h at the z equal to sigma h at the z equal to Ka into where this vertical pressure at sigma v at z, sigma v at z. That means where K is the coefficient of active pressure, Ka into where sigma v is nothing but gamma prime into z, because sigma v already we know by varying the depth of the soil mass, the unit weight of the soil mass, how much we are keeping on the ground, and what is the depth of the soil mass for that stress. For that we have to calculate. That means Ka equal to sigma v equal to gamma prime into z. Ka into sigma v is the gamma into z. That means where gamma prime is the submerged unit weight of the soil mass and z is the depth of the soil mass at this particular element. Suppose if you want to calculate the vertical pressure at this particular depth, how we have to calculate, we will see. As well as if you see here in this condition, the soil mass is in submerged condition, as well as there is also some presence of the pore water pressure. Pore water pressure also will create some pressure on the wall. That pressure also we have to calculate. That means sigma h at z due to pore water, due to pore water. That pore water also we have to calculate. That pore water is nothing but gamma W into z. At particular depth, at what depth you are considering the depth of the soil mass, the stress, that depth into unit weight of the water. That unit weight of the water we are taking it as a gamma W. Again, if you want to calculate the total horizontal pressure at this total height, nothing but sigma h equal to Ka into gamma prime into h plus as well as gamma W into h. This Ka into gamma prime into h is due to the lateral earth pressure, is due to the submerged unit weight of the soil mass, where gamma W is the lateral earth pressure acting on the soil due to the pore water condition. Already we have shown that diagram. Okay. If you Okay, if you see here, this is, if you see here, this is your retaining wall and this is your retaining wall. Okay, for this retaining wall, this is the horizontal ground surface. From this horizontal surface, we are taking this h is the height of the wall. For this height of the wall, due to the pressure of soil mass, submerged pressure, the vertical pressure will be, horizontal pressure will be acting on the wall for submerged condition as Ka into gamma prime into h. At total depth, we are taking this horizontal pressure as Ka into gamma prime into h, as well as the presence of water is also available in the soil. Hence why again it will create some pore water pressure on the wall. For this pore water pressure also, we are calculating the horizontal pressure. For this pore water pressure, the horizontal pressure it will be gamma W into h. For this entire retaining wall, how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting at base of the wall, that we have to calculate. That means the horizontal pressure at a total depth or at a height h equal to Pa equal to or sigma h equal to Ka into gamma prime into h plus gamma W into h. This is the formula how we are calculating the lateral earth pressure when the soil mass is submerged condition. For the same type of soil, if you want to calculate the total horizontal force or total horizontal thrust, that means the total horizontal force Pa equal to, here the total horizontal force TPA equal to area of this triangle into height of this triangle, that is nothing but half into Ka into gamma prime into h square plus half into gamma W into h square. This is the formula for total horizontal pressure calculating for this submerged condition. Up to this is the second condition, how we are calculating the lateral earth pressure when the soil mass is in submerged condition. In next class, we will see when the soil mass is in dry condition as well as when the soil mass is in a steady state condition. Thank you.